Hi Griffins and happy Wednesday. I hope you're all doing well and are able to enjoy the beautiful weather we're having today. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to come and do this stretch with me. I promise it's not going to be intimidating. It's going to be a low impact, lower body stretch just to open up our hip flexors, get our legs moving, lots of breathing, lots of muscle relaxation, and hopefully a good way to clear your mind and take a midweek break. So all you're going to need is a mat. If you have a water bottle and you want to keep it nearby, that's totally great. Take a break when you need to, grab a drink when you need to. Otherwise, we're just going to get right into it. So we're just going to start with some nice big deep breaths. So you want your feet about hip distance apart. We're going to reach down on our inhale, and we're going to exhale and reach up nice and tall up towards that ceiling. You can bring that head up, look up towards the ceiling. And we're going to go ahead and bring it back down. Inhale and exhale. Bring it up nice and tall. We're going to do this a few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Great job. We're just going to hold it, looking up for a minute. If you want to go ahead, you can arch that back ever so slightly. Give yourself a little extra stretch. That's totally okay. When you're ready, we're going to forward fold just about halfway. So you want to have a nice flat back, nice long arms. You're going to look down towards the floor in front of you and just hold here. You're really going to feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Just elongate here. Keep taking big deep breaths. When you're ready, go ahead, forward fold, reach towards that mat, towards your feet. Your hands can't go there, that's okay. You can hold them onto your shins, whatever works for your body. And just relax into it. Feel the stretch deepen. Feel your muscles relax into it. Maybe after a few breaths you're able to go a little bit lower. That's awesome. And then slowly, you're going to roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow. And we're going to stand up nice and tall. We're going to do a few side stretches just to keep warming up. So I'm taking my left hand, reaching over towards my right side first. Again, you can look up at the ceiling here, or you can look down, whatever feels good for your neck. Take a few deep breaths. And then we're going to reach over, we're going to flatten our back, and we're going to reach over towards that right side. Keep that arm out. Try and really straighten that back. Keep the neck aligned. Few more big deep breaths. And bring it up. And we're going to arch back. Still that same side. Left arm up. You don't have to arch very far. And then bring it forward. We're going to bring it back to that airplane arms, both arms out. Nice flat back. Big deep breaths. Bring those hands down to that mat or to your shins, whatever your body's telling you to do today. Just relax into it. And slowly roll it up, one vertebrae at a time. Great job. We're going to switch. We're going to stretch over. I'm using my right hand to stretch over to the left side. Again, wherever your neck feels comfortable. I like to look up at the ceiling, but if you want to look down, that's okay. Keep taking nice big deep breaths. We're slowly warming up the back here. We're going to reach over, flat back, looking over to our left side this time. Make sure you're checking your alignment. You have a nice strong core. We're really working the whole body in these nice simple movements, nice holds. That. We're going to arch back. Again, it doesn't have to be very far. Wherever your body tells you to stop is okay. Good job. And then we're going to bring it back and forward one more time in this nice airplane hold. Take a few nice deep breaths. Make sure that back is aligned, the neck is aligned. And slowly bring those hands down. You might see that your hands can go a little further than they could the first time. That's awesome. That means that your muscles are stretching. They're warming up to these movements. Take a few nice deep breaths. And slowly fill it up one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful job, guys. Now that we got the back and the core warm, we're going to start working our legs a little bit more. So we're going to start with a little bit of balance while we open those hip flexors. So you want your feet directly underneath your hips, nice and strong. Be nice and strong in those legs. And I'm going to use my right leg first. We're going to go into a tree pose. So if you want your foot down here, resting on the mat, that's okay. If you want it on the shin, that's okay too. Or if you're more flexible, more balance, you can bring it up rested on your thigh. What's important here is you're using your core and you're really opening that hip flexor. So once you're there, we're going to take a few deep breaths. Make sure you have a nice tall back. And if you're ready and balanced, you can go ahead, lift those arms up above the head, nice and tall. Take a few nice deep breaths here. If you want, go ahead and challenge yourself. You can lean over towards the side the side that's up on your leg. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge. Work the core. Work a little bit more balance. And slowly bring it center. Lower that leg. You can shake them out really quick. We're going to go ahead. We're going to switch sides. So this time my right foot is planted and my left foot is either down on the mat, around my shin, or up above the knee, resting on the thigh. Just make sure that it's never on your knee. We don't want to put that pressure on such an important spot of our body. And once you're balanced and you have your foot where you want it, you can go ahead, lift those arms above the head. If they have to stay lower, or even if you have to touch a wall or a chair or something nearby, that's totally okay. Do what works for you, and if you fall out of it, that's okay too. Just get right back into it. And again, if you're ready for a challenge, lean over towards that knee. Maybe I'm not ready for the challenge, but that's okay. Like I said, just get right back into it. Work with what your body's telling you to do. One more nice big deep breath. Bring it back center. And lower that leg. Shake it out. Awesome job. So again, we're going to have a nice straight posture. Check our alignment. Make sure those feet are nice under our hip bones. We're going to take our right leg again. And we're going to cross it over our left leg. So it's going to look kind of like a number 4, figure 4. You're going to open up that hip flexor. You can just very, very gently push on that thigh if you think it'll help you open a little more. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sit back in this position. So you're really going to feel the glutes work and the legs work, but it's also going to open up that hip flexor and give it a nice, good stretch. The lower, the better. But if you can't sit back at all, that's totally okay too. You're still working that hip flexor, still opening those muscles. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're looking at a nice non-moving object to help you balance. When you're ready, slowly bring it up and shake it out. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to move on to the opposite leg. So my right foot is planted, my left foot is over that knee. Again, don't put it directly on your knee, we want it right above. Open that hip flexor very gently. And when you're ready, go ahead and sit back. Feel that stretch. Feel those muscles working. Nice big deep breaths here. Make sure you're checking your form. Right back up. And we're going to go ahead and shake it out. Beautiful job, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stretch our calves a little bit after all the work they just did to hold us up. So we're going to start with our right foot. So I'm going to put my right foot, and it's going to be right on the edge of my mat. So my foot should be parallel with the mat. Then my opposite foot, also parallel on the mat, is going to be right behind me. And I'm going to push that heel into the ground of my back foot while leaning forward with my right foot. So you're really going to feel the stretch in the back of the legs, in that calf. And the deeper you go, the more of a stretch you'll feel. So stop whenever it starts to get too intense for you. You definitely want to challenge yourself if you can. Don't let that heel rise. If that heel starts to rise, move it back a little bit. Don't go as low. That's totally okay. Take a few big deep breaths. And slowly we're going to straighten that front leg. Bring them together. Shake them out. We're going to switch over to the opposite side. So this time my left foot is going to be in front. Right foot is going to be in back. And that heel is going to be really planted into that ground as I push forward very gently. Just enough to feel a stretch in that calf and the back of the leg. Taking a nice big deep breath. If you start to wobble, again, if you have a wall or a chair nearby, feel free to grab it. And if your heel starts to rise, you don't have to go as deep. It's really important that that stays nice and grounded into our mats here. When you're ready, you're going to straighten that leg, bring them together, and shake those legs out. Now, from there, we're going to use those muscles that we just started to work and started to stretch. We're going to go into a nice lunge. So, we're going to forward fold, just like we did at the beginning. Reach down towards that mat. We're going to walk ourselves out. So you're going to be in a nice plank position. If you have to drop to your knees first, that's okay. And then we're going to take our right leg first. We're going to lift it. And we're going to bring it forward in between those hands. And you have to walk your foot forward a couple times. That's totally okay. Totally normal. And once you get nice and balanced, nice and grounded there, you can go ahead, if you want, and raise those arms. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge. Give yourself a little bit of a deeper stretch here. Take a few nice big deep breaths. More slowly. Going to bring it back down, bring that foot, come back into that plank. We're going to lift the left leg and bring it forward. Again, if you have to step it forward a couple times, that's totally okay. You need to take a second to, catch your bearings, that's okay. But when and if you're ready, raise those hands up for a little extra work, a little extra stretch, a little extra balance. A few big deep breaths. And go ahead, frame that foot. We're going to go back into plank. And then we're going to open our knees, but bring our toes together to push ourselves back into a nice child's pose. Use this pose to really catch your breath, reset, open up the hip flexors a little bit while we're at it. Make sure your fingertips are nice and far. We really want to get that extra stretch in the back while we're here. And again, keep breathing deep. Alright. Great job. So we're going to move back onto all fours. From here, we're going to step it out into that plank again. I know we're working our core just as much as we're working our lower body. I'm going to lift that right leg. Bring it forward for that lunge again. But this time, we're going to drop that back knee. I know some of you might have kept that back knee on the mat the first time. That's great. Just do that again. But forever challenge themselves. This time, we're going to bring it down. And for a little extra, if you're feeling it, if you're feeling like a little extra stretch, you can go down onto your elbows. And you'll feel it gets a little bit deeper, a little bit more intense. If this hurts, don't do it. Do what your body is telling you to do. Keep breathing deep. We're going to go ahead. We're going to bring ourselves back up. And then slowly, we're going to bend that back leg even more. We're going to straighten that front leg. So you should look like this. You want to bring your chin down towards your knee, your chest down towards your thigh. Really feel a stretch in the back of this forward leg. Reach for those toes. Breathe deep here. And back forward. You're going to really place those hands, make sure they're nice and set. Bring yourself back into that plank. And this time, we're going to take the left foot forward. Drop that right knee. Make sure you're in this nice, good lunge. And if you're feeling it, you can go ahead and go to those elbows for a little deeper stretch in that hip flexor. If you're not ready for this, don't do it. You can stay up on those hands. You're still getting an awesome stretch. Make sure you're breathing deep. When you're ready, I'm going to bring ourselves back up. Get ready to bend that back leg. Straighten out that front. And go ahead, feel that stretch in the back of the leg. Bring that chest down towards your thigh. And take a few big deep breaths here. Really try and straighten that leg the best you can. When you're ready, bring it forward. Bring ourselves back up into that plank. Hold it for just one big breath. And go ahead and bring yourself back into that nice, relaxing child's pose that we all love. Hold it here, catch your breath, let those legs relax. one more big deep breath here. And bring it back up. Make sure those hands are underneath those elbows, underneath those shoulders. And we're going to come back up into that plank. Again, lifting the right leg. And this time we're going to bring it forward for a nice pigeon pose. So you really want to sink down, try and get those hips down towards the mat. So from here you can sit up nice and tall, or if you want a little more stretch, you can reach forward like we were in our child's pose, and you'll feel yourself sink a little bit more, letting that chest sink. It'll put a little more work into the hip flexors to open up. Either way, it's totally fine. Just make sure you're breathing through it and that your body is nice and comfortable in the position. You don't want it to hurt. When you're ready, we'll bring ourselves back up to this high position. And if you want a quick little extra stretch, you can either stay here or you can lift that back foot and reach behind for it. You'll feel this stretch more in your thigh and in your hip flexor of the back leg. And again, just hold it here for a few breaths. If this feels like too much, don't do it. Just stay in the normal pigeon position. Go ahead, let that foot relax. Point of those hands. Bring yourself back to that plank position. Lift the left leg and bring it across for your pigeon pose. Beautiful job. Getting that nice, good form here. And when and if you're ready, go ahead and stretch it forward. Reach in front of you. Open that hip flexor a little more, sink a little deeper as you take a few nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, bring yourself up if you're not already there. And if you want that extra challenge, go ahead and reach for that back foot. I know it's probably more intense on one side than it is the other. That's normal. Most of us have one side that's a little more flexible than the other. Go ahead and release that foot if you were holding it. Make sure those hands are nice and planted. Bring yourself into that plank and back into our final little child's pose here. Open those hip flexors, stretch those fingertips out. Take some nice big deep breaths. Beautiful job. From here, bring your hands back, bring your knees back. So you're in a nice neutral position. Hips should be, knees should be hip distance apart underneath you. Shoulders above those elbows. And we're going to do a few cat-cows. So breathe in. Give yourself a nice rounded spine, chin to chest. And on your exhale, let it all out. Give yourself a nice curve in the spine. Look up towards that ceiling if you can. And ground. And switch. chin to chest. And switch. 2 more times. Switch. Alright, great job. 1 more of each. And exhale. Alright, great job. From here, we're going to plant those feet. And we're going to push ourselves up into a nice downward dog position. Feel the stretch in the back of those legs. Let that head hang. Let the whole body give itself a nice big stretch. And then when you're ready, walk those hands in towards those feet and slowly roll your spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Beautiful job. Alright, we're just going to do a few more standing stretches for our hip flexors, and then we'll take our final deep breaths. So we're going to start with our right leg. We're going to step it out, and we're going to have it face our right side. So 1 foot is facing in front of you, the other is facing towards your right. Arms nice and long. And we're just going to lunge over for a nice warrior pose here. Get nice and deep as your body is letting you without it starting to be painful. You can look over that hand if you want. Take a few big deep breaths here. Alright, and while we're still in this nice lunge, we're going to flip that hand, keep the leg bent, and stretch back, give yourself a little arch. You can reach down that back leg for a little support. Take a few big deep breaths here. As you come up, straighten that leg, and we're going to reach forward again, this time with a straight leg, so it's more of a triangle pose. And then, if you're ready, you're going to reach down either for your shin, for your foot, for the mat, however far your body can go. But make sure that your chest stays nice and wide and open. Your upright hand, those fingertips should be up towards that ceiling. Take a few deep breaths here. And slowly bring yourself up. And one more time, arch it back. Bring those fingertips down that back leg. Slowly bring it forward. We're going to switch feet. So this time your right feet are facing in front of you. Left is out towards that side. And bend that knee. Give yourself a nice warrior pose. You might need to inch your toes out a little bit more like I did. That's totally okay. Take your nice deep breaths here. And keeping that arc or that bend in that leg, and reach towards the back. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Bring yourself back up as we straighten that leg. So now we're in a nice triangle pose. And lean forward again. Take a few big deep breaths here. And slowly, if you can, walk those fingertips down towards that shin, towards the mat, wherever your body's telling you to go. Just make sure your chest stays open, fingertips are up towards that ceiling. Slowly, we're going to bring it up. And we're going to arch it back. Fingertips slowly sliding down that back leg. Take a few deep breaths here. Bring it back up. We're going to end by facing those feet forward, so toes in front of you. Take a big deep breath and forward fold from here. Try and reach down towards that mat. Give yourself a nice stretch in the back of those legs. They deserve it. Let that head hang. Let that spine relax. So 3 big deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time with me. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly roll that spine up. Walk those feet in nice and slow, one at a time. And finish with a big deep breath. Alright, great job guys. I know I can't see you, but I'm sure you all really worked, really stretched, and I hope that you're all feeling a little bit better and are ready to finish off the day strong after that good, relaxing stretch. I hope your legs are feeling it in the best way possible. And I hope you're able to join me again next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 12 o'clock on Facebook Live. Thank you. Namaste.